it's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Thursday, March 2nd. So we have another full day of the moon in its place of power in Cancer energy. So again, the moon in Cancer, very emotional. It's a water sign. We're in a water season. So everything is kind of rapid cycling and then gets calm again. And then we look back and we have an intuitive thought that comes in. And then, of course, our emotions overwhelm us. It's a process of really looking back, having something trigger, integrating that intuitional, emotional, and mental knowledge, and then, of course, trying to create a foundation in our emotions where it's going to provide us with safety, security, and stability. The moon in Cancer tends to be introverted. We kind of want to stick to home. We want to stick to what is old, tried, tested, and true. We're looking to take care of ourselves, to take care of other people, and really, it's about just kind of appreciating this moment, looking back, reflecting how we got here, being peaceful, as stable as possible in this present moment before we kind of enter into charging forward. And we will experience that energy shift when the moon moves into Leo energy on Friday. So today is the day where we are watching Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, ruler of information, ruler of communication, move out of the Aquarian energy, moving into Pisces energy. So definitely go ahead, listen to these astro forecasts that I put out for this event because I go into a little bit more depth about it. Of course, take a listen to March's energy forecast if you haven't already. Download your zodiac forecast so that you can get a little bit more specific on where some of these astro events in March will be taking place in your life. And of course, if you want to download your zodiac forecast individually, you can do so from my website. If you want access to all 12 zodiac forecasts, you'll have to jump over and join my Patreon. So it's a relatively busy day here in the cosmos, 14 different aspects. 9 of them do involve the moon. And when we take a look at the ones that don't involve the moon, most of this activity is coming from Mercury, really trying to wrap up those particular life lessons in Aquarian energy. And of course, jumping into Pisces energy, which will give us a brand new life lesson, a brand new energy to work with. So right out of the gate, we have Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, money, who is in Aries energy. She's in her fresh cycle. She's really trying to get excited and passionate and trying to identify what it is that she desires from here, what it is that she wants to create and give life to from here. She's coming up to, bumping into, sitting next to Jupiter, the planet of growth, expansion, beliefs, blessings, abundance, and wisdom. And of course, in this Aries energy, we're really feeling the intensity, the impulsivity, if you will, to take action, to make moves, to create opportunities, to pretty much reemerge out into the world. Many of us, of course, cuddled up in this comfy cocoon in Pisces energy, although we are kind of wanting to take a little bit of action. Not really the ideal time for that. We're kind of like marinating in what it is that we want to take action on. And of course, we will be gifted with the green light go ahead to do just that when we move into the new astrological calendar with Aries season and of course the spring equinox. We have a couple of weeks before that happens. So this particular aspect is kind of what I ranted about in yesterday's forecast. You know, everybody's very anxious in the spiritual and new age community talking about how beautiful this aspect is going to be and how grand it is and how healing it is and how, you know, just opportunistic it is. And although that may be true in a certain sense, as I spoke about yesterday, that they're really not considering the fact that, you know, Venus and Jupiter, yes, are conjunct, but they're with an orb of Chiron, the wounded healer as well. And we have to factor in the, you know, the whole Saturn being in the 29th critical crisis degree, Pluto in the 29th critical crisis degree. We have a lot of heavy weights that are going to kind of, I'm going to say, snuff this over-exaggerated, over-related type of opportunistic energy down. And as I mentioned yesterday, you know, obviously we can feel a lot of confidence, a lot of optimism come in because of this Venus and Jupiter conjunction. But I kind of feel, taking a look at all the energies playing together, that this is a heavy weight, a heart activation, a magnification of the emotions that we need to feel in order to heal. Chiron, the wounded healer, is there, not only exposing the wounds that we've had to move through and heal, but where it is that we've actually grown, we've actually transformed from doing that healing work. And of course, the healing work is never truly over. And having Saturn, the Lord of Karma, at the 29th final degree, there's a certain weight, a heaviness, a responsibility, an accountability that is going to overshadow this very high energy, high manifestation, high opportunistic energy between Venus and Jupiter, and really bring us down a couple of pegs in order for us to be realistic. Now, Saturn's involvement here, I would say, is helping us to close a karmic chapter because, of course, we're preparing to move on. And Saturn has been in his place of power for the last 5 years in both Capricorn and Aquarian energy. And he is preparing to dethrone himself and move into Pisces energy. So there's a little bit of intensity really coming out of these karmic chapters closing and us bossing up into new roles and responsibilities. And that's not even to mention Pluto, the great transformer himself, the god of the underworld, in that 29th degree of Capricorn energy, pushing us into our power. Now, does that feel good? Likely not, because the power struggles that we have to endure in order to actually boss up and take our placement of authority, that doesn't feel so good either. Either way, we are on the cusp, on the precipice of a major change. And a lot of these major changes are coming with the evolution of our emotions, what it is that we are feeling, what it is that we are choosing to allow to carry on our heart space. I've been talking a lot about the emotional baggage that we kind of have to sort through at this particular point in time. We are ending out a calendar. We are preparing to enter into a new one. We need to take all of the suitcases that all of our pain, all of our trauma, all of our emotions have been packed up into. We have to now go through these suitcases in order to minimize the amount of luggage and baggage that we're carrying into this brand new astrological calendar. And so, although you may hear or see posts online about how magical this day is because of Venus and Jupiter coming together and conjuncting, please do not forget that there is some heavy, heavy healing and transformational energies that are really triggering our heart space to feel what it is that we have to heal. So the moon is going to go ahead and make an awkward interaction with Mercury. This is an indicator that our heart and our head are not on the same page, and we shouldn't really expect them to be. The moon is in Cancer, which typically speaking orients to the past. We're looking back. We're overly attached to elements that we know that we have to let go of in order to actually move on and move forward. While Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, is in Aquarius energy, the final degrees of Aquarius energy, which is visionary. It's the big picture. It's the observer. We are starting to piece together the new vision, the new goal, the new dream, and we are kind of breaking it down into smaller pieces so that we can actually achieve something and hopefully one day get there. So with the Aquarian energy pushing us very far into the future, with the moon in Cancer focusing very much on the past, it's no wonder while our emotions and our headspace are not on the same page. Now, the moon is going to go ahead and get into the boxing ring with Chiron. This is not going to feel good. This is going to illuminate the shadow realm, the darker traits of what the moon in Cancer is all about, which is overly protective, passive aggressive, fearful, doubtful, insecurity. We're not feeling safe and secure and stable at all. And Chiron is here to illuminate that. Why, you may ask? Because we have to sit in the funk in order to realize that there's a problem, in order for us to orient to try and find solutions to solve it. Now, the Chiron energy is really going to put us in a situation where we're more oriented to the past than ever before. We are trying to romanticize the past, put those rose-colored glasses on, and look back on our experiences and make them something that they are not, usually in the lighter version of what it is that they are not. Why? Because we are on the precipice of a major change, and this moon and Cancer energy is hesitant to do that, and therefore we're trying to make peace or quote unquote settle, delude ourselves in thinking that maybe we don't have to make the kind of changes that we know that we should be making. Maybe we can find some peace and really kind of just accept the current circumstances that we're in. Now, Mercury is going to go ahead, semi-square Chiron shortly after that. And this is going to bring a lot of friction into our mental plane, a lot of tension. There are going to be competing thoughts. There's going to be a negative narrative. We really have to get down to the nitty-gritty on where it is that we learn to tell ourselves such things. We are really starting to speak fear into our dreams. We're really starting to kind of overanalyze the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. And this particular energy, pay attention to what's coming up in your mental plane, because this is what we have to override as far as a new script, a new narrative goes. Now, the moon will make an awkward interaction with Saturn, Mr. Lord of Karma himself, ruling over roles, responsibilities, systems, structures, foundations, of course, final degrees of Aquarius energy, trying to show us where it is over the last 5 years that we've had to boss up, we've had to mature, and finally at the point where we're realizing where boundaries are needed in our lives in order for us to do what is right for us, what we're being called to do, without letting the opinions of other people sway us from the path, from the meaning, from the purpose, from the mission that we know that we have to be on. The moon will sextile Uranus. This is a beautiful energy. I love this. Mr. Uranus is the great awakener. He likes to shock us. He likes to give us an aha moment. He likes to give us epiphanies in order for us to really see things from a different light. Because the moon in Cancer, typically speaking, is focused on the past, this is likely going to be a huge moment, a huge revelation where our understanding, our perception, our perspective of events gone by are changing, and with that comes an emotional change as well. This is very much the breakthrough kind of energy that we need to shift our perspective and orient ourselves in the path moving forward instead of looking back. The moon will bump into the true node in a very positive way, which does suggest that, guess what? We're getting pulled out of looking back and we're in this present moment. And just for a second, we're going to give ourselves permission to think about how it is that we want to move on, how we want to move forward. A lot of this realization is coming from recognizing where it is that we do not feel safe, secure, or stable in our emotions, in our home, in our personal relationships, in our money matters. And from that, we are willing to problem solve, come up with some kind of solution. It would kind of speak very indicatively that we are moving forward. We are piecing together where it is that we can detach from the past in order for us to actually project ourselves and moving forward. This is a huge amount of growth. This is a huge amount of healing. We are piecing together the steps that we feel called to pursue. Now, here's where things get interesting. Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, ruler of information, communication, and expression, at the very final degrees in this Aquarian energy, comes up, bumps into, teams up with Saturn, the Lord of Karma, also in the 29th degree of Aquarius. So let's talk about this for a second, because this is going to bring a little bit of weight, a little bit of intensity here. Mercury, of course, is the lower level intellect, but in Aquarian energy, we blend with the highest form of our intellect. And so Mercury and Saturn coming together, we're really getting serious about some particular thoughts and ideas, some serious matters on our plate. We're looking at our responsibilities. We're looking at our commitments. We're looking where it is that, you know what, we're concerned, we're worried, where we're a little bit upset. We are definitely focused on our problems because we need to address that there is a problem in order for us to actually be able to fix it. We have super hyper focused concentration right now, and it may not feel like that because, again, we're at that 29 critical degree, so scatterbrain, there's rapid thoughts, rapid moving information. But the thing about it is that we're trying to concentrate, and our higher self is trying to concentrate on one particular problem at a time. There may be an issue where you feel like you need to retreat from the outside world. It really is very loud in our head space, and we're not feeling very safe or secure in our inner realm. And there could be a want, need, or desire to kind of isolate, to sit in solitude for a minute in order for us to think as clearly as possible about some of the issues that are weighing very heavily on us. This is a reality check. This is a time for us to get logical and practical with what it is that's important for us, what it is that we're being called to do. We absolutely need to be very careful with what it is that we speak on. Because, of course, our words are spells. Our words hold a lot of power. And right now, there is a huge amount of strength coming from Saturn, the Lord of Karma, that if we speak out on something that we didn't have full time to kind of process, we may be creating something for ourselves that we do not desire. And this is a very, a lot of pressure. This is a very sticky weight in our mental plane, but it's needed. We need to focus. Especially in this Pisces season, we don't want to deal with reality, right? That's what Pisces season is all about. Disassociation, imagination, living in la la land, wearing those rose-colored glasses. We are not going to be able to avoid certain topics and themes that are very serious matters weighing on our headspace and heart space with this particular aspect. Now, Mercury shortly after goes ahead and bumps into Pluto, the god of the underworld, ruler of the transformation that we are currently going through. And you best believe that this is going to intensify the thoughts. But we tap into a level of genius with this Pluto energy because we do a deep dive in the psyche. Whatever problems, whatever issues are coming up for us under this Mercury and Saturn aspect, we are going to take further, move inward, really do a deep dive, peel back the layers with this Pluto energy, because Pluto wants to get to the root cause of this inner narrative, of these thoughts, of this problem in our psyche, so that we can somehow transform it into something better that we can work with. And when there is an aha moment in the psyche, it shifts our emotional space as well. And so because Pluto is the great transformer, we are going to have to really kind of do a deep dive in our inner realm in order for that aha moment, that shift of energy, that shift of perspective to actually take place. The moon will go ahead and bump into Mars. Mars, of course, in Gemini energy, just waiting to get out of this Gemini energy. He will be moving out of this Gemini energy after 7 months at the end of March. If you haven't listened to the March energy forecast, go ahead and do so. I paint a beautiful picture on the chaos that we're about to move into throughout the month of March, and Mars is definitely a part of it. Now, the moon and Mars coming together, it's an awkward situation. It is a choice point. It is a decision point on what it is that we're going to take action on. It's very interesting because the moon being in its place of power in Cancer energy, Mars is about to leave Gemini energy at the end of the month, move into Cancer energy, not its most favorable position, but at this point, we're just happy to get out of Gemini energy. And this is an interesting dynamic because we're definitely going to see the contrast between the Cancer energy and the Mars energy. Once Mars actually moves into that Cancer energy, we're only taking action on things that emotionally or intuitively push us to do so. And this particular aspect, emotionally speaking, has us fired up, has us inspired, has us motivated to take action on the idea, again, Gemini energy, that we've been divided over, that we've been torn over. We are leaning towards one path, one choice, one decision, one direction over the other. And emotionally speaking, if we feel so called to do so, we will take an action in order to not only identify those ideas that we're bringing to life, but to also provide ourselves with a little bit more stability in our emotional realm. 5:52 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Mercury will be moving into Pisces energy. Please go ahead, listen to that astro forecast. This is where our intellect and our intuition blend together to give us a very interesting perspective on the world. I go into depth on the highs, the lows, the pros, the cons, and everything in between of what we can expect over these next couple of weeks. And it is a very short time, a short duration that Mercury is in Pisces energy. We will be shifting into a brand new Mercury cycle when Mercury moves into Aries energy the day before Aries season begins. So we just have to consider the fact that Pisces energy is the ending of the zodiac wheel. Any planet that moves into Pisces energy is about to do a surrendering, a releasing, a purging, an ending, a death, a closure. And in this case, likely with ideas, likely with old narratives, old memories, old dreams. And we are kind of in a position to clean the slate, so to speak, so that the new energy, the new ideas, the new brilliance and creativity can flow in very easily once Mercury moves into Aries energy. So we have the moon in Cancer making a very harmonious aspect with Saturn and with Mercury. So this is definitely, I'm going to say, a little bit heavier. Now, granted, it is a positive aspect, so we got that going for us. But anytime we interact with Mr. Saturn, especially at a 29th crisis and critical degree, you best believe there's a certain amount of seriousness. But the seriousness that is coming in is a realization that we are closing out a chapter. We are preparing to move on. We know that we have to boss up to new roles and responsibilities. And in this particular aspect, we are trying to gain a little bit of confidence, a little bit of optimism. We are starting to pull away from being so stuck and so attached to the past, where we're able to stand in this present moment and actually see what is on our path and moving forward. And just when we have that kind of reality check in our emotions and in our mental state, the moon goes ahead and bumps into Mercury. And, Mercury is just fresh in this Pisces energy. And this is the very first aspect that Mercury in Pisces is going to make. And of course, this is some water on water action. And this means that our heart and our head, for the first time in a long time, are actually on the same page with things. And we may not know what that actual page is, but we can feel a little bit of comfort, a little bit of calmness, a little bit of, I'm going to say, harmony take place in our inner realm. We end the day off with the moon in Cancer trining, which is a beautiful energy, with Neptune, who is in his place of power in Pisces energy as well. So we get some water on water action here again. What this is doing for us, it is connecting us to our intuition, to our higher self, to our dreams, to our vision, to our imaginary state of la la land, where we get to kind of lose ourselves, disconnect from this current reality, and just remind ourselves what it is that we're moving towards, what it is that we want to manifest, what it is that we're working through and growing through in order to actually reach this end goal, this end dream, this end vision. This is a lot of inspiration. We are finally feeling a little bit motivated here, a little bit better than we have over the last couple of days. We really want to take advantage of this peacefulness, of this inspiration, of this calmness that we're currently feeling, because as you know, it doesn't stick around for too freaking long.